Imagine a racist cop, smug and untouchable, spewing hate without fear until he's face to face with the black woman he's tormented. Now revealed as the head of internal affairs, holding his career in her hands. This is racist officer exposed. Black woman shocks him as internal affairs head, a gripping tale of justice, betrayal, and redemption that'll keep you glued to every word. Don't miss out. Subscribe now for more electrifying stories that hit hard and leave you thinking. Racist officer exposed. Black woman shocks him as internal affairs heading the heart of Atlanta, where the city's pulse thrummed with ambition and unrest. Officer Daniel Hargrove strutted through the precinct like a king. His badge gleamed under the fluorescent lights, a symbol of authority he wielded like a club. At 38, Hargrove was a veteran of the force, a broad-shouldered man with a square jaw and eyes that glinted with a mix of arrogance and disdain. To the public, he was a hero, the kind of cop who made headlines for busting drug rings and chasing down suspects in high-speed pursuits. But behind the badge, Hargrove harbored a darkness, a deep-seated prejudice that colored his every interaction. He'd grown up in a small Georgia town where old attitudes lingered like damp rot, and though he'd learned to mask his biases in public, they simmered just beneath the surface, erupting in quiet moments when he thought no one was watching. Black suspects were always thugs in his reports, their neighborhoods war zones. He'd smirk as he tightened handcuffs a little too hard, his voice dripping with condescension when addressing anyone with skin darker than his own. To Hargrove, this was just the way things were, his way of keeping order in a world he believed was slipping into chaos. The precinct, a hulking concrete building on Peachtree Street, was a microcosm of the city's tensions. Officers bustled through its halls, some jaded, others idealistic, all navigating the thin line between law and justice. Among them was Detective Maya Ellison, a 35-year-old black woman whose quiet intensity set her apart. Maya had joined the force a decade ago, driven by a fierce desire to protect the community she'd grown up in, a neighborhood where gunshots were lullabies and trust in the police was a rare commodity. She was sharp, meticulous, and unrelenting, her dark eyes missing nothing. Her colleagues respected her, though some whispered about her edge, a refusal to play the politics of the precinct. Maya didn't care for their chatter. She'd seen too much. Her brother gunned down in a drive-by at 16. Her mother broken by grief to believe in half measures. She worked homicide, her cases piling up like unpaid bills, each one a puzzle she solved with a blend of intuition and grit. But Maya had a secret, one she guarded like a wound. She'd been quietly recruited by Internal Affairs 6 months ago, tasked with rooting out corruption in the department. No one, not even her partner, knew she was IA's new head, a role she'd taken on with a mix of pride and dread. Hargrove and Maya's paths had crossed before, though never pleasantly. He'd made snide remarks in the break room, his voice just loud enough for her to hear comments about diversity hires or how some people didn't belong in uniform. Maya never took the bait, her silence a shield against his barbs. But Hargrove's behavior went beyond words. She'd seen the complaints filed against him: excessive force, racial profiling, witnesses intimidated into silence. Each report was dismissed, buried under the weight of Hargrove's reputation and the department's unspoken code. Protect your own. Maya's IA role gave her access to those files, and what she found turned her stomach. Hargrove wasn't just a bigot. He was a predator, using his badge to target Black and Latino communities, planting evidence and strong-arming confessions. The evidence was damning, but incomplete. Hargrove was careful, his allies in the precinct quick to cover his tracks. Maya knew she needed more, something undeniable, to bring him down. The story began to unravel on a sweltering July evening, when a call came over the radio, a shooting in Vine City, a predominantly black neighborhood. Hargrove was first on the scene, his cruiser screeching to a halt outside a crumbling apartment complex. A crowd had gathered, their faces a mix of fear and anger. A young black man, Jamal Carter, lay bleeding on the pavement, his hands empty, his eyes wide with shock. Hargrove claimed Jamal had pulled a gun, forcing him to fire. The crowd screamed otherwise, their voices a chorus of outrage. He was unarmed, a woman shouted, her phone recording the scene. Maya arrived minutes later, her badge heavy against her chest. She saw Hargrove standing over Jamal's body, his expression unreadable, his hand resting on his holster. Something in his posture, the casual ease of it, sent a chill through her. She knelt beside Jamal, checking for a pulse that wasn't there. The crowd's accusations grew louder, and Hargrove's eyes met hers, a flicker of defiance in them. He went for a weapon, he said, his voice flat. Had to do it. Maya didn't respond, but her mind was racing. She'd seen this before: cops closing ranks, stories aligning like puzzle pieces forced into place. As homicide lead, she took charge of the scene, her team combing for evidence, while Hargrove gave his statement to a sympathetic sergeant. The gun Hargrove claimed Jamal had was nowhere to be found, and witnesses swore he'd been holding only a phone. Maya's gut told her Hargrove was lying, but proving it would be a war. Back at the precinct, she pulled the case file, her IA instincts kicking in. She cross-referenced Hargrove's past shootings: 3 in 5 years, all black men. all armed according to him, though evidence was conveniently scarce. She dug deeper, accessing bodycam footage that had been misfiled and dashcam audio that hadn't been properly logged. What she found was a pattern. Hargrove's encounters escalated quickly, his language laced with slurs, his actions just shy of provable misconduct. As weeks passed, Maya built her case in secret, her nights consumed by reports and recordings. She met with IA informants in unmarked cars, their faces shadowed, their voices low. One officer, a rookie named Torres, admitted Hargrove had bragged about teaching lessons to those people. Another, a veteran dispatcher, revealed Hargrove had buddies and evidence who'd lose inconvenient items. Maya's anger grew, but so did her caution. Hargrove had allies everywhere, cops, union reps, even a deputy chief who golfed with him on weekends. Exposing him would mean exposing the department's rot, and she knew the backlash would be brutal. Still, she pressed on, driven by Jamal's face, by her brother's memory, by every name in those buried complaints. The first twist came when Maya received an anonymous tip-up. Burner phone left in her locker with a single text. Check Hargrove's. CRUISER. Under the seat, her heart pounded as she slipped into the precinct's garage late that night, her flashlight sweeping over Hargrove's patrol car. Under the driver's seat, she found a small plastic bag containing a .38 revolver, its serial number scratched off. Her breath caught. This was a throwdown gun, the kind cops used to plant on unarmed suspects. She bagged it, her hand steady despite the adrenaline. The gun was a breakthrough, but it wasn't enough. She needed to tie it to Hargrove, to prove he'd used it to frame Jamal and others. She sent it to a trusted lab tech, swearing them to secrecy, and waited for ballistics. Meanwhile, Hargrove sensed the walls closing in. He'd noticed Maya's late-night presence, the way her eyes lingered on him. He cornered her in the precinct hallway one day, his voice low and menacing. "You're digging, Ellison. Careful, you don't bury yourself." Maya held his gaze, her voice ice. "I'm just doing my job, Hargrove. You should try it sometime." His smirk faltered, but he walked away, leaving her with a nod of dread. She knew he was dangerous, not just to her but to anyone who crossed him. That night, her apartment was broken into, her files scattered, her laptop smashed. Nothing was stolen, but the message was clear. Back off. Maya didn't. She doubled down, her resolve hardened by the break-in. She reached out to Jamal's family, promising answers, and met with community leaders who'd long distrusted the police. Their stories of Hargrove's abuses, stop-and frisks, beatings, planted drugs, matched her findings. She also discovered a witness to Jamal's shooting, a teenage girl named Aisha who'd recorded part of the encounter. The video was grainy, but it showed Jamal's hands empty, Hargrove's gun already drawn. Aisha was terrified, her family harassed by Hargrove's allies. Maya promised protection, relocating them through IA channels. The video was gold, but she needed more to seal the case. The second twist hit like a thunderbolt. Maya's IA supervisor, a grizzled white man named Callahan, called her into his office. She expected an update on the case, but instead, he slid a file across his desk. "You're being reassigned," he said, his tone clipped. "Hargrove's got friends upstairs. They're shutting this down." Maya's blood ran cold. The file was a transfer order to a desk job in records, effective immediately. Callahan wouldn't meet her eyes, muttering about politics and keeping the peace. She realized then that Hargrove's reach went higher than she'd thought. Someone in the department was protecting him, someone with power. But Maya wasn't done. She'd kept copies of everything: files, footage, the gun stored on an encrypted drive hidden in her car. She wasn't just fighting Hargrove now, she was fighting the system. The climax came at a disciplinary hearing, a formality meant to clear Hargrove of Jamal's shooting. The room was packed: cops, union reps, media, and community activists. Hargrove,